Merry Christmas.
Ho,
Buon
ho, ho.
Natale. Feliz Navidad, wherever you're from. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. So welcome to the Year of the Bird, the last one before Christmas, Boxing Day, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, today, in terms of results, not a very good show to talk about. But I mean, what's new? You could say. Obviously, we did this show just a few days ago, but now talking about games that are happening just 2 days ago, obviously because Christmas is coming and that's on a Thursday, so we decided to move it on this Monday, looking ahead to Boxing Day, at least for me, because we play on the Saturday and I think Spurs on a Sunday. But yeah, lots of football happening and things to talk about. But before we get started, please do hit the like button on both streams. Subscribe to both channels. And I hope you guys like the Christmas theme, you could say. And also, I'm doing AFCON. Was it Egypt versus Zimbabwe? So catch that on my channel. And yesterday, I found out it was actually more on my X and my Twitter. I got over 1,000 views at one time. So that was quite cool. But then, yeah, it was an alright game. Morocco Comoros 2-0. But yeah, Charlie, how are you?
Not great because I've had to sit through some absolutely terrible football. On top of having a cold, which I'm still kind of recovering from, if you watched yesterday's show, the Pina Rossa, you probably picked up. My voice is like screwed over, basically. Same today, but I'm gonna try and get through this as best as I can. But yeah, big up to everyone watching. The Year of the Bird, Spurs Newcastle, which I might as well just rename to the Show of Depression. The year of mediocrity is what we might as well call it, because technically last year was Year of the Bird because we both won a trophy.
Yeah.
This year's just year of
it still is.
This year's year of mediocrity, wanting both our managers gone. That's what this year is of. So,
and actually, this is the very first show, in terms of the Premier League season, that Newcastle are above Spurs. The first time ever this entire season.
You gained 1 point. Should have been 3 though, for you guys, to be fair.
But yeah, obviously we'll get started with the first game, which was actually the earliest game, the early kickoff, which was Newcastle 2, Chelsea 2. You could say it's a game of two halves. And of course, which half do Newcastle do well in? The first half. Which one do we not do well in? The second half. And for the 3,000th time this season, we had a chance of gaining more than just 1 point, or even all the points. And we drew after being 2-0 up. But yeah, the first half was pretty good. You could say we were very much the better team in that first half. Chelsea barely did anything in that first half. And the first goal, which was in like the 5th minute or something, Voltemada scoring, but it came from a cross from Jacob Murphy. I'm not sure if Gordon really touched the ball, but it was saved by Sanchez, and Voltemada was basically free to tap it in, basically. And it was 1-0, and it was, a very good start. It always seems like we do have a good start against Chelsea, like every single time. Last season, we had a good start. Tonali scored that time, this time Voltemada. But then, you thought, okay, are we going to sit back like how we usually do? But no, we actually continued pressing Chelsea. Probably you could say this is probably one of the best halves of football that we have. But then obviously, why can't we do that all game? But then we won a free kick. Anthony Gordon was given the ball, ripped it in. Voltemada was free. There was possible check of offside, but it wasn't offside. So Voltemada got a second goal in around the 23rd minute or something. And, it looked comfortable, obviously. Voldemort could have had a hat trick. He missed 2 opportunities to score just before halftime, and then at halftime, it seemed like, comfortable. I was like, oh, maybe this could be a 3-0. Maybe we see this game out. Maybe finally, apart from beating Man City, we finally get another win against a Big Six side. But of course, I know they did a halftime press conference or whatever with Eddie Howe, and he said, and they asked Eddie Howe, what's the game plan for the second half? It's just keep.
Wait, did you say this was at halftime?
Yeah, I think it was TNT Sports that interviewed.
Yeah, see, I hate this halftime interview thing. I'll tell you something. I know we spoke about Palermo yesterday, but in Serie B, they're doing it with players at half. If you're on the winning team at halftime, you get interviewed, basically. So I really don't like it.
It should, to be honest, it should be fans that they should be interviewing. That would be actually quite, well, it depends, really. But I would say, he was saying like, continue what we were doing. I'm like, that didn't seem like we were continuing what we were doing in that second half. 5 minutes in, more or less, free kick, which for Chelsea, which was actually a very good free kick. Fair enough, because Reece James did score, so it was a good, especially what Eddie Howe said at that halftime interview and what happened after the game. But yeah, it was a good free kick from Reece James at St. James's Park. So coincidence, you could say. But then you thought, oh, maybe, you know what, we'll press on, we'll continue. We could have had a penalty, actually. Anthony Gordon, you could say, was like like that, or not like that, but like shoulder to shoulder. But the referee was like, fair challenge. It was 50-50. I'm like, so, because I think maybe it could have been a penalty, but at the same time, I know a lot of Newcastle fans are complaining about VAR, and a lot of people say we should have gotten the penalty.
I'll tell you something, that was nothing compared to what happened in a certain other game with referees. That's not what you're talking about. Look, there was some bad decisions, but it's nothing close to what I had to deal with.
But yeah, and then but to be honest, even though a lot of Newcastle and even neutrals were complaining about it, I was like, we shouldn't be hoping and praying to the gods of VAR that we should be, getting ourselves back ahead in the game, which we were still. We were 2-1, but then when Chelsea scored the second goal, João Pedro with the equalizing goal, I was like, oh, what a surprise.
I mean, it was coming, I'll be honest. It was coming. It was like you said, it was a game of two halves.
But it's like, it happens every single game. I'm like, good thing we didn't lose the game, but like, this was a loss for me. Even though
when you're 2-0 up, you have to be, no matter who, I always say this in football, when you're 2-0 up, you have to go on and win the game. If you don't, it's a complete collapse. It's as simple as that.
That's what happened. But to be honest, is it really that surprising from us? It's actually now,
no,
I believe I saw 13 points drop from winning positions, or at least
that's the most in the league, from Newcastle.
I know Man United have like 10 points drop, but we have 13 points drop. So, actually, I'll say this. Had we actually kept all those points...
Oh, my God.
But had we kept those points, the 13 points, we actually would be top of the league, actually. More or less. Something like that.
I mean, first, even at this stage, like 13 points from winning positions is crazy, to be honest. That is a lot.
It's like an early...
And we're not even quite halfway through the season yet, and you've already dropped. That's good.
Yeah, we did. Crazy, we gave Spurs 2 points. We gave Liverpool 1 point. We gave Arsenal 3 points. We gave Chelsea 2 points. 1 point.
Or you lost 2 points against
Yeah.
Chelsea.
So
Yeah, you lost 2.
it's like, am I really going to be surprised if we do a good performance?
But do you know what I think it is? And this in terms of why you're dropping all these points from leading positions, I think it's Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
I think you have to question the players, but just looking in, obviously, as like a neutral on this, like who doesn't have the emotional attachment to Newcastle. I look at it and I'm thinking, look, Eddie Howe. Every game I see him do nothing, wait until it goes wrong, and then he'll make about 4 subs at the same time. It's very sort of, I think Steve was talking about it. It's like a very reactionary, it's always reactionary subs. It's not proactive substitutions.
Yeah. I think,
like he did it against Chelsea. Like I remember he made like 4 subs at the same time.
Yeah, true. I mean, we could have had that penalty before
this
one,
is true.
but like,
yeah.
Also, I feel like it feels like we're just like we need the help of the referees and all that, or the help of VAR. Which,
well, I'll tell you something as well. Reece James should have been sent off at the end.
Oh yeah, but it's Chelsea, so
yeah, just like Liverpool, just like them.
Chelsea. Yeah, that halftime interview takes away. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if the players really cared about that halftime interview, but like, what? So why didn't they ask Enzo Maresca then? Why didn't they interview him?
Because he wasn't on the winning side. Like I said, in Serie, they do it in Serie B. Like it's only they do an interview with somebody from the winning side, basically.
Yeah, I just feel like why not ask the currently at that time losing manager? Oh, what are you going to do to turn the game around? And I'm pretty sure the exact same response would be like, I prefer not to speak. Like what's the point? You should be asking, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But like, I don't know. I mean, it's okay to have halftime interviews, but like, I feel like, you gotta, I'm not saying that I hate it, but I'm like, there's not really any point.
Oh yeah, Angus as well. I haven't asked you yet. How do you feel about Celtic? I know you guys like won the other day, but like that's been.
Oh yeah, I heard they nearly dropped points to somebody.
Celtic have been a disaster.
I mean, look at Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's actually going on there? That's like you guys are supposed to be like by far the best team in that league.
Yeah, and it seems like there's another team that has more hearts than the others. But yeah, I think overall, I'm not a big fan of the halftime interviews. I prefer to have a halftime show. I prefer that.
Well, they're doing that at the World Cup.
I'd much rather listen and see that than watch a halftime interview.
Well, that's the halftime shows. That's very like Americanized. Yeah. That's very Americanized. Yeah, I mean it is. I mean it makes halftime longer.
Yeah, so and it gives managers more time to talk. But
yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah.
So I think, no, I get it.
And then obviously, Harvey Barnes, probably the most influential substitutions we made the entire front line change.
Yeah, but again, I think there's not a lot of. I'm not saying it was entirely wrong to like change it up, but I think there wasn't a lot. Just looking at the way he made the subs, like he took the front 3 off and then put another 3 players on. That for me, there's not a lot of thought went into that. There's not a lot of tactical thought. It's just let's just change the whole thing because we have to chase the game. There's not like a. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's not like a thought out approach to change it up. It's just let's just make all of these subs at the same time and hope it sticks.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Eddie Howe is failing this season. Yeah. Because of stuff like that.
Especially like the amount of times we drop points from, you could say, winning positions or even just getting a point. It's like like how many it says like, oh, we're treading in the right direction as a team. I'm like,
Well, clearly you're not. That's the problem. Yeah. I think I mean, in terms of this Chelsea game, like you said, game of 2 halves. First half, I actually think you should have been more than 2.
Yeah.
Oh, Voltemada, which to be fair, Voltemada, he's despite your problems, he's doing the business this season. Unless it's against Sunderland where it's at the wrong end. But
and to be
Yeah, look.
I saw he did an interview after the Chelsea game, or I'm not sure. Well, yes, I am. Yeah.
No, Catalan, no.
I don't know why your mic is a bit, but yeah. Do you call this? I think overall, yeah, I am anyhow out because of that. But I
Can you
saw
hear
an
me?
interview.
Is it better now?
Not really, for me at
Oh
least.
man. Oh
But
no, disconnected.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I saw Nick Faltermada did an interview. I'm not sure if it was after Fulham or after the Chelsea game, but I guess it was after the Chelsea game. Talking about, you could say, the week he's had with that game last Sunday, not yesterday, but the Sunday before, and all that. To be honest, I don't blame Baltimore for what
I mean,
happened.
he's getting the goals. It's just like he's been let down by obviously other players and the manager. Like I think, do you know what it is? Like I said, first half, you should have been more than 2-0 up, I think. But in the second half, as they always say, I look at it like this: 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline in football. It's probably the most dangerous scoreline there is in football because 2-0 is dangerous because as soon as if the other team get one goal, that cuts it in half. It halves. They say halve the deficit. Big up to Jordan as well. It halves the deficit, and that gives momentum to the other team. And it's about how you react. You know, can you quiet the game? Can you sort of take the sting out of it, and maybe go and get the third goal, kill it off? But what I saw from Newcastle against Chelsea was they let it get to their heads. You know, the pressure was on, and they folded because that second goal was coming. The João Pedro goal was coming for the longest time. And if I'm honest, there was a period after that where I thought Chelsea could have easily got the third goal in that game, which I think Newcastle were quite fortunate not to concede in the end. And yeah, check this out later, guys. I should be on there. I think, yeah, I'm going to be on there with 10 on that
8
watch.
o'clock UK.
8 o'clock UK. But what really got me was, again, refereeing decisions. For all Newcastle's kind of bad momentum and bad play in the second half, they should have had a penalty and they should have had a free kick on the edge of the box and where Reece James should have been sent off. Look, it was an incredible free kick, Reece James. But he should have been sent off. And wow, Newcastle UCL semis. The way it's going, I don't see it.
True, but I would say we have yet to win a knockout game in the Champions League. But considering like you could do shit in one competition, then do well in the next.
Well, that's the thing. Like with Champions League, I'm not saying it's it's easy or anything. Of course not.
And I'll say this. The 1969 Intercities Fairs Cup. I know it's not as major, but because I know Arsenal.
Cup. Well, yeah, what are we doing here? The Fairs Cup.
That we played the final and we won it. But guess where we played that final? In Budapest.
But what I was going to say was with the Champions League, I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but it's you do need a bit of luck in the Champions League. Yeah, me too. We'll get into it. In the Champions League, you've seen even not even just go far, even like not the best teams win it. Like I remember that Chelsea, probably both times when Chelsea won it. To be honest,
I would say the recent one was
the recent one. They had Timo Werner and Kai. They had Timo Werner and Kai Havertz up front. And the one before that, in like 2012, didn't they finish like 7th or 6th or something?
They finished below us, I remember.
Exactly. Yeah, they finished below us as well, like that. So that's what I'm saying. Like in the Champions League, obviously you have to have a certain mentality and you have to have a certain level, but sometimes you can get a bit of luck. No, Angus will go 14th. If Fulham win, we go 14th, basically. But to be honest, I think we're gonna.
Oh, now somehow your mic disconnected just there.
It just keeps disconnecting.
Yeah.
Facts. Look, I mean, the ref will evolve today. We'll get into it. Don't worry, because I have a lot to say about a certain referee, basically.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Newcastle and Champions League, I did say at the start of the season that we will actually do. I mean, we actually been dropping points in the Champions League as well. Marseille, Leverkusen, and all that. But
that's the thing. Again, against Leverkusen, you had a lead. You lost. You lost the lead.
yeah,
In against all of these teams, you've had leads and you've lost them. You know,
yeah,
even for as bad as we are, you still couldn't hold on against us at
yeah.
home.
And we were winning both times, or
Exactly.
1-0, 2-1, or whatever. But I mean, I did say at the start of the season that I feel like Champions League might be the, you could say, bread and butter of our season. I would say, not saying. I mean, if we were somehow, but I probably expect us to do the best in the Champions League. And despite recent performances in the games, we'll see. But yeah,
Facts. Exactly. And then they changed the rule. They changed the rule right after that when we got cheated out. I remember. Yeah, I remember it.
yeah. But I feel like this
Look,
game.
I'll get into it, but this has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about at all.
But overall, the game against Chelsea, yay, we're finally above Spurs somehow.
Because you gained 1 point on us. But I
Yeah,
mean, let's be honest. Like we're sitting, we'll get into the table in a bit, but like we're sitting here at Christmas and we're both in the bottom half. Like it's just
yeah,
unacceptable.
yeah,
It just can't. It can't be like this. You know, I think both have to be held accountable. Both managers, both clubs.
yeah,
You know, to be in this position at Christmas is disgusting. No
yeah,
matter what people want to say about, some of the players, managers, like, both these clubs should be, that it's not good
yeah.
enough to be in this
Especially what
position.
you're seeing, like, people would usually say, what's the similar type of team to a Newcastle or somewhat Spurs? Is Aston Villa. Look how well Aston Villa are doing, and look how bad they started this season.
Do you know what it is with Villa? People. This might be quite unpopular, but they're doing really well, and Unai Emery's a top manager. I rate him highly, but I think it's a bit of the Morgan Rogers show, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
but at least they're getting
Morgan Rogers is kind of, I wouldn't say carrying them, but the way I see it is, if it wasn't for Morgan Rogers, they wouldn't be anywhere near. They wouldn't be at. No, I shouldn't. Why should I be happy with that? With Villa, it's kind of the Morgan Rogers show. I feel like in a lot of ways. I mean, do you see yesterday? He just scored 2 bangers yesterday.
Yeah, but the thing is that Aston Villa managed to get results.
Like Morgan Rogers is going to get a massive move. Like he's gonna go to like Man City in the next 2 years or so.
Yeah, and I feel like overall, maybe we'll get that very soon. But yeah, against Chelsea wasn't the. It's like, how many times am I going to see us drop points? Like, if you
It's
guys
a
want,
vicious
like,
cycle.
like I can't think of how many games it's been, plus what happened on the 14th and all that. Like, how many more like, and it's not even Christmas yet. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, you guys have some, and you haven't. What was it you said? You haven't played one of the so-called Big Six away from home yet.
Until Boxing Day, and I'm pretty sure I'll be honest.
You've dropped all of these points, even without that, with having like relatively kind away fixtures. If you wanna,
Yeah.
if
The
you
only
if you
win
wanna
we
say
have
that.
so far away is Everton, and that was when we had to be 3-0 up at halftime too.
And they were awful. They were awful that day.
Yeah.
Like,
So overall,
look, I'll get into this because I think fans are talking a lot about this, and I do want to address it.
yeah.
Pretty much.
But
So
overall, not a good point game or whatever. But as Arsenal always say, on to the next one, lads. It's a point.
Champions League journey to be proud
Yeah,
of.
it's a Premier League point against Chelsea to be proud of.
To be
But
fair, that's what Eddie Howe might think with some of the stuff he's been coming out with this season. It wouldn't even surprise me.
yeah.
Like,
But yeah, overall, not great. But I guess before we move on to the infamous game, once again, it's an infamous game like 2 years ago. But first, Paratici is going to a team that won 5-1 last night, Fiorentina.
yeah. Paratici, after coming back after we see this this is ridiculous because we stuck by him. Like this guy obviously got in some legal trouble. You know, he was suspended from football. He got his ban. He was working he was still kind of involved with the club, working as a consultant, that sort of thing. He came back full time in like October, September time as apparently part of the new, the new sort of like, structure at the club since Levy's gone and everything. And yet it looks like at the moment, he's jumping ship. He's jumping ship. It's not quite confirmed yet, but it's getting that way. It's only going in one way right now. Paratici looks like he is heading to Syria, back to Syria, to Fiorentina. And this completely baffles me because, first of all, Fiorentina, for those that don't follow Syria, I know they've only got their first win yesterday. They are rock bottom of Syria. They are like still, 8 points from safety or so. They've been awful this season. And the likelihood, as it stands, is that they will be relegated this season, which for Fiorentina is disgusting because they're a pretty big club. Fiorentina are one of the bigger clubs in the league. And for them to go down is if it happens, will be shocking. Obviously, their sporting director resigned. What's his name? Prada. He resigned like after the transfer window, I think. So they've been looking for someone else. This is ridiculous because how Paratici, after we as a club stuck by him, despite him, being banned and everything, giving him a full-time job after all of that, for him to go and jump ship is crazy. It is absolutely crazy for me, especially right before the transfer window opens. Now, what is interesting is we are about to hire somebody from Man City. I don't know if you got.
Oh, wow. How come your mic cuts off there? Nope.
There we go.
All right.
We're about to hire somebody from Man City who is like, he's coming in, what was it they said? The director of football operations or something. So whether what I do wonder is that somebody to replace Paratici? Were we anticipating this? I'm not too sure. Or is it a different role? I don't entirely know. But for this, whatever it is, for this to happen right before January is horrible. Like it's ridiculous because if he leaves, if it is before January, I don't know if it will be a notice period or whatever happens. But if he leaves either before January or during January, then I do worry whether that throws all the recruitment up in the air, personally. Because, obviously he's been a big part of that. He even said when he rejoined us, he said that, I'm happy to have this opportunity, all of this, to come back to the club. And he's jumping ship. I think this is absolutely ridiculous, personally. And I don't know. God knows what this means. God knows what, this means, what this means behind the scenes and everything. But look, Paratici's not perfect. I'm fully aware that he's had some, bad signings, bad managerial appointments as well. But this guy has contacts. This guy knows the game. This guy, he's ruthless. He understands what it takes to get a deal. If I'm going to say this right now, if he leaves, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know what this guy from Man City that we're getting is going to do exactly. But if Johan Lange is in charge of transfers, we could be in trouble because this guy couldn't get a deal done for Toffee. Genuinely. Angus, no, this couldn't only happen at Tottenham. I've seen this happen with loads of especially Italian clubs, actually. Trust me, this does not only happen at Tottenham. I've seen it happen many times. But it is, but every time I see it, I'm still baffled, and I don't know. I really don't know what to think. I really don't know what to think. Like I said, the club stuck by him, and he's going to join bottom of the league Fiorentina. Plus, and look, at the end of the day, I don't look. Nobody knows what the motivation is. He might, it might be a family thing. He might want to go back to Italy and all. I understand that. We don't know exactly what the reasons are for this, for him, seemingly being open to going back. Yeah, because the Premier League's boring. There's no. If you follow Serie A, you're in the drama with this, and the Premier League's boring. It's full of just businessmen and everything, that sort of thing. But yeah, Not great. Not great at all. I mean, I don't know what you think about this whole thing, Tem, because I mean, you've obviously been through it with like Dan Ashworth and everything.
Oh, and who's the other guy? Paul Mitchell as well for 1 year.
Just, I guess, I mean, as an example, I guess it kind of just happened at Newcastle recently.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, we kind of wanted that to happen, but yeah, I mean, it seems like not great. Obviously, Paratici leaving Spurs, it seems like. So, we'll find out in the next few days, perhaps, who's the person that's going to be in charge of the transfers. Because
Just do not let it be Lange. If it's Lange, I swear to God, if it's Lange, because oh come on, see that this. I mean,
maybe
the less said, the better.
Maybe at Juve Stabia,
But that,
but they're not Serie A. So. But
if you want to find out about that, just go and look it up. Just go and look up
Stabia, or whatever. But yeah, overall, Paratici. Well, I guess we'll find out how Spurs will do the transfers, like who's the one doing it and all that, maybe in a few days or so. But doesn't seem great, I guess, especially when both, well, actually not just Spurs but also Newcastle trying to recruit players during.
And I think both desperately need players coming in and early. Just look at the way the season's going. I think both clubs just desperately need proper reinforcements.
Yeah, especially for your game on the 4th of January, I believe. Like, please. But yeah, I think overall, it doesn't look good for Spurs. Not only off the pitch, but you can also say on the pitch.
Okay, well, where do I start with this? So if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, Spurs, of course, played Liverpool on Saturday. We lost 2-1. 9 men, Spurs with 9 men lost 2-1 to Liverpool.
Wait, I'm pretty sure, what do you call this? When you beat them 2-1 a couple of years ago, weren't Liverpool also 9 men?
They were, but they were 9 men. They were 9 men before we went down to 9 men. Okay, where do I start? Where do I start with this? Look, I've been blaming Frank a lot recently, and I've been saying that he's, failing. He's not doing a good job. All of this sort of stuff. But if I'm honest, and look, I will talk about Frank, but in this game in isolation, I don't think was his fault. I really don't, because if anybody watched this, you would know that has to be the worst refereeing performance I have ever seen in my life. I mean, just take a look. Just take a look at this. If I can just get this up. One sec. Let me find it. How do I share a picture? Here we go.
And
that's all that. Look, this is all you need to know, guys. This is all you need to know. Just take a look at this. What's his name? Brooks, John Brooks or something. Whatever this guy is. So let's digest this whole thing. Red cards. The 2 red cards. I'm going to say this right now. I don't think either of them are red cards. Simmons, look, he's nowhere near the ball. I understand it. He's chasing Van Dijk down. He is a little bit over aggressive, sure, but he literally completely mistimes it. But there's no malicious intent. There's nothing whatsoever. Gets sent off.
It seems similar to the if you remember early in the season, Newcastle Liverpool.
Yeah, although that one was worse. The Gordon one was worse for me. But it wasn't even just the red cards. It was the constant fouls that were being given to Liverpool that whole game. Every time a player went down, foul. Every time a player went down, foul. With us, nothing. I can remember at least 3 or 4 times where we clearly blatantly got fouled in that first half that it wasn't given. We go down to 10 men. That completely throws our game. Whatever the game plan was, it completely throws it out the window. And let's get into the second half. Obviously their first goal. Look, I will blame Romero for this because Romero, I don't get it. He's trying to, have you ever heard the saying hero ball? You're trying to hero ball it. You know, you're trying to play that. Look, Romero is usually good at those passes. You know, those in between the lines. He's usually good at that. But when we're down to 10 men, there's less need to hero ball it. Like I don't get why we're trying to hero ball it when we're down to 10 men. I think that was a bad decision. And then obviously Isak scores, which he obviously picked up a bad injury clearly from doing that. Which
seems like it's 3-4 months.
Obviously he came on at half time with Slot going 2 up top to try and get the goal against the 10 men of Spurs.
Karma for him.
But let's talk about that second goal. Obviously, what was interesting is before that, we actually hit the bar. I mean, I think it was Colin Moine. He had a shot just massively deflected that hit the top of the bar. Basically from nothing. That was basically our first kind of chance, really, of the second half. But their second goal, blatantly a foul, should have been disallowed. You know, you've got cked, who is clearly got 2 hands on Romero. He has pushed him blatantly over with 2 hands. And they've allowed the goal. They've allowed the goal after a blatant foul in that goal. A blatant foul. I cannot believe that was given. Romero got one disallowed earlier in the season at West Ham for something 100 times less than that, for a foul. But yet when that happens, goal. Nothing whatsoever. We should have had 2 penalties as well. And look, Liverpool, they were shocking. You know, they struggled against 9 men. Like let's just be real here. They were hanging on against 9 men, even 10 men to an extent. You know, when we finally started to go forward a little bit more. Facts. Yeah, he got booked. This is the worst thing. He got booked for complaining. About, you know, the goal, which clearly should have been disallowed. And then gets a second yellow for what happened later on, obviously, when he should never have been booked in for the first time. Because he was rightfully annoyed that blatant foul wasn't given. Let's also talk about the fact that we could have had 2 penalties that weren't given. There was the Curtis Jones handball that wasn't given. And there was the one that Brennan Johnson, who came on, was blatantly blocked off by Kirkes, and he would have had a tap in. And this was when we were down to 9 men, by the way. Nine men. And like I said, a lot of Liverpool should be embarrassed. I'll be honest. They should be embarrassed. They look like they were about to fold against 9 men. Like this is ridiculous. I've never seen that. I've never seen it before. Right? Obviously, we get the goal back. I mean, Richarlison's a player I'll never understand. For as bad as he is, he somehow gets goals. He pops up every so often. He'll pop up with goals. I don't know. Look, fair play. He got the goal from Blade. I mean, look, we started to push a little bit more in those latter stages. Look, and I'll be honest, right? I've questioned these players, the effort, the application in the past few weeks. The effort was there. I'm not going to deny it. The effort was there. Like they definitely tried. They definitely gave it a real go, especially with 9 men. It's just a shame that the referee, you know, didn't have any intention of us winning that game or getting something from that game. Because I'm not saying we deserve to win. I'm not saying that I'm not going to sit here and say we were robbed of 3 points or anything. But we were robbed in the sense that we were denied anything from the game in the way that we were. 2 blatant penalties not given. Not 1, but 2 penalties that should have been given. You have the second Liverpool goal that should have been disallowed. And you've got 2 red cards that were never red cards. You know, like I said, the second one, booked for complaining. But booked for complaining for a blatant foul. And not only that, there's a picture going around. That absolutely disgusting referee looked absolutely gutted when he had to give a Tottenham goal. When Richarlison scored, he looked absolutely heartbroken. Like, and gutted. He looked like he was crying inside. The absolute fraud that this guy is. So, unfortunately, part of me would rather be sitting here talking about, you know, the performance and all of this. But that referee, I'm sorry, and I don't usually like to blame refs. Usually I want to focus on more of what our performance was like and all of this. But that referee, I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. That is the absolute worst I have ever seen. An absolute disgrace. Completely a joke. Like, there's nothing more I can say. I just, man, I'm so annoyed. An absolute, whoever, that referee, it's not a surprise that I also heard he was apparently working in VAR during that Chelsea game a couple of years ago when Romero should never have got sent off. In that 4-1 where we went down to 9 men. And I remember they should have had somebody sent off as well in that game. Like,
yeah.
It is a complete disgrace. I'm sorry, I've never seen anything like this. I have never seen a refereeing performance like this. I just don't know what to say anymore. I really don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Like, and I agree. Don't worry, guys. I am seeing all your comments. I agree with all of you guys. You know, that game was clearly rigged. I don't care what anyone says. That was just something oh my God. And like I said, it wasn't just the obvious moments. It was, the constant fouls that were being given against us every single 5 seconds. It's like, you get some referees, they kind of prefer the game to flow. They allow the game to sort of flow. This referee, every time a Liverpool player went down, foul. Every time one of our players went down, play on. Nothing, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. And I'm seeing, and like I said, the Simmons red card, if you guys go back to the Carabao Cup semi-final last season, Van Dijk did the exact same thing on Solanke, if not worse. It was probably worse. Van Dijk did the same thing on Solanke. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can't deal with this, man. I mean, look, I am going to talk a bit more about us as a team in that game in a bit, but I mean, Ten, what's your thoughts? Because I am absolutely baffled by how bad that referee was.
I mean, it's no surprise, referees support Liverpool or Man United.
Liverpool. It's not a surprise. Liverpool. Let's just go back to the Champions League final. Apparently, a handball is the armpit. Apparently, that's a handball.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Like, whoever makes their fans happy, because if you don't make them happy, they're going to cry. But
and not only that, right? I'm seeing on Sky Sports, and I've seen people in the chat say, "Thank God I don't have Sky Sports." I agree. I think you're very lucky. I'm seeing on Sky Sports, right? Gary Neville, who's a Man United guy, completely talk in that game in Liverpool's favour. It was so weird. He was utterly against us. Maybe he's still salty for the Europa League final. I don't know. But that was weird. You've got Jamie Redknapp after saying, "Oh, Romero does what he does," without any actual analysis or substance. Yeah, Romero had a bad game. That's fine. Yeah, he shouldn't be doing that hospital pass that he did and everything. But actually put some analysis into it. Don't just be like, "Yeah, Romero does what he does." Like, what does that's not a so-called professional and that pundit analysis. Like, what is this? What are we doing here? The commentary and punditry was disgusting for that game. The referee was disgusting. I just have no words. And big up to Billy Guy. Big up to everyone in the chat as well. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Ten. Sorry to cut you off.
Obviously, not a good refereeing performance, obviously. It seems like the Premier League only wants certain clubs to do well. But to be honest, it's happened like ever since the dinosaur era, you could say. But yeah, I do think that is true. Though I do think overall, like in terms of who I would say is the man of the match, in my opinion.
The referee.
No, it's Mickey van der Ven.
Oh my God. Now you shouldn't, Ten. I'm gonna say it. You shouldn't wish injury on other people.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course, I don't wish injury on other players. And I'm pretty sure if something happens to one of our players, of course, I know. You know how Liverpool fans are like as well.
I mean, surreal. I see your comment. I agree. But you've got Jamie Redknapp, who is an ex-Spurs player, and also ex-Liverpool, funnily enough. But he hates us because we sacked his dad. He hates us because we sacked Harry Redknapp.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look. Here's the thing: the referee was abysmal. I have no words to describe. Complete corruption. Completely rigged. I've never seen it ever. That guy, and this is why I have no respect for the Premier League. no respect for the organization whatsoever, because they will not sack this guy. They will not sack him. He will be protected. He will be allowed to referee next week. He won't be demoted to like the National League where he should be, right? Or even that. I mean, the National League, I wouldn't wish, to be fair, I wouldn't wish that on National League, to be honest. Poor them if they have to have him referee in their league. He'll be protected. He'll probably be in charge of the Crystal Palace game next week, or he'll be like the fourth official or something, right? He'll be involved in some way for one of our games, which is shocking. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But still, you know, an absolute joke of a game. An absolute joke of a game. But despite all of that, here's what I will say about Spurs. The effort was there from the players when we went down to 9 men. You know, like I said, Liverpool against 9 men were on the ropes, which is kind of embarrassing for them, to be honest. I mean, look, they won the game, fair play, but that's not a 3 points they should be particularly proud of, if I'm being totally honest. The referee was their 12th man. But anyway, with Spurs, what I will say is this. When it was 11v11, in the small sample size that it was, because it was only for about 35 minutes, we were marginally the better team. I didn't think Liverpool... the way I saw it was both teams were not good. Both teams were poor. But that's my problem again. We were poor again. We weren't creating much. Kolo Muani had that one chance where he should have probably scored that header, if I'm being honest. But once again, we didn't do as much as we should. You know, Kudus on that right. I thought Kudus probably had his worst game for Spurs. You know, he was very predictable, which is strange, you know. And obviously we know about him firing, our attack's in big trouble, massive trouble. The reality is this. If, and I don't like to keep going on about previous games and everything, but if this Liverpool game was in isolation and we'd got better results in the games we should be winning, like Fulham at home, like Wolves at home, like Nottingham Forest at home, if we didn't have the number of shit shows that we have had this season, I think this game would be easier to swallow. Because the reality is that for all the referee problems, for all the disgusting stuff that went on in this Liverpool game, it is another loss. It just factually, it is another loss. And it's another loss at home. And it's our 7th loss of the season. And it leaves us 13th, maybe even 14th, depending on the result today. Potentially 14th at Christmas, which is not good enough. And like I said, do I blame Frank for what happened on Saturday? No, I don't think it was his fault. Not yesterday, Saturday, for me, wasn't on Frank. I'm not going to put the blame on him. But what is on Frank, or not entirely, but what is on Frank is a lot of why we were shit against Nottingham Forest, a lot of why we've been shit in every game this season, apart from Man City away. A lot of that is on Frank. And what I'm seeing right now, and I don't understand this fan base. Like I always say, I get the skepticism. I can't even say that word. Skeptical. Like you know what I'm.
Skepticism.
Yeah, that word. I can never pronounce it properly. That word. I get that towards the ownership, despite Levy not being there, because it is still ENIC. You know, they're saying they've restructured everything. I understand that. But what I'm seeing is after this Liverpool game, I'm seeing fans blame the whole thing on the ownership, which I think, look, it's like I said, it's okay to be skeptical, like I am. I'm going into this January window sort of, of one eye open, paying extra attention and that sort of thing. I get that. But they haven't had a transfer window. They haven't had the opportunity to prove to us that they have changed and that without Levy there, the club will move in a better direction. They look, we just have to let them prove it. And if they don't do it, then fine. We have to start protesting again. That's cool. I'm happy. I'm not afraid to kind of admit that if that's what happens. But they haven't had a transfer window yet. Without Levy there, we haven't had one. So.
Oh no! Now your mic is muted.
Great. I get it. We're in a terrible position. We're on terrible form. It's nowhere near good enough. The manager isn't good enough either. A lot of these players aren't good enough. I get that. But fans are only saying this because they're emotional. Our fan base are very reactionary. Very, very reactionary. I bet you this. If we had won that Liverpool game, you wouldn't see fans after this, and I've seen so many of it coming out and saying, "Oh, nothing's changed. We're gonna have a shit January. We're gonna do this." And look, if that's your opinion, that's fine. That is totally fine. I get it. But the problem with this fan base is they're only saying this after we've lost the game. If you're gonna say it whenever. Say it after we've won. Say it after. That's fine. If that's your opinion, it is what it is. But they're coming out with that after the loss. This is ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. Like I said, they haven't had a transfer window yet. And I agree. I think it is quite fishy, to be honest, that Levy left after the transfer window. I agree. And that's fine. But there's so many fans I'm seeing online that are saying this as an emotional reaction to us losing yet another game. For me, it's whether that should be your opinion, regardless of that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just find it ridiculous with this fan base. Like it seems like that's sort of a coping mechanism. How can that be a coping? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. Like this fan base, I knew were reactionary, but after this Liverpool game, have been just awful. They've been awful about the whole thing. Like I said, it's okay to criticize. It's okay to have an opinion. But if you're going to base the whole big picture on that one game, I think is ridiculous. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But
overall,
the reality is this: we don't know what's going to happen in January. And myself, I am skeptical. I know there is a very good possibility that nothing has changed. I know that. I was one that wanted Levy out for the longest time and all of this. So I'm very aware of that. But I already had that opinion before the Liverpool game. I already had that opinion. I don't know why people have all of a sudden jumped on it all of a sudden after this Liverpool game. It's not registering with me. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. If any of what I'm saying makes sense, because I might be talking complete shit here. I don't know. But if what I'm saying makes sense, please let me know in the chat, because I'd love to know sort of other opinions on this. But the reality is this: it's another loss, despite all of whether we deserve to lose or the referee. It was another loss. It's as simple as that. And right now we are failing. Frank is not good enough. He does not have what it takes. Yes, look, Saturday was not on him, but it's yet another loss. And like I said, the problem we've got, and I said this in the last show, is that is sacking him right now. Would that actually? I don't think it would be the smartest thing. Sacking him wouldn't be the smartest thing right now. However, he can't. I don't want him here. I don't think he can be here in the long term. And if it was up to me, if there were actual top managers available, that maybe were willing to come and all of this sort of stuff, I would be getting rid of him right now. But the problem is that the market's not good. We can't go down this. I always say this: we cannot do this interim thing again. It can't happen.
Stay leaning.
So yeah, we can't be doing that again. It can't happen. So in a way, we're stuck with him. Plus, we're in a terrible position because come January, it's going to be so much harder for us to bring in the players we should be bringing in because of our league position. The players that are actually going to raise the levels of this team, it's going to be harder to attract them. It's going to be harder to bring these players in because it's a harder sell. You have to sell it. It's going to be harder. And is Frank the kind of manager that can kind of make up for is he the kind of guy that can sell it despite the league position? I'm not so sure. Because in the summer, I'm hearing in the summer a lot of players, join Spurs because Frank, talked to them and all of this, which is great. But now it's a different story because of the league position and how poorly we're doing.
Yeah.
So we're kind of stuck at the moment. And fans, a lot of fans have checked out because the football's terrible. Because to a lot of Spurs fans, they want to be entertained. So for right now, we're not being entertained.
I know a certain manager.
Sorry?
I know a certain manager.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Anyone saying Ange should come back is out of their mind. I'll tell you that. Ange, if Ange was here, we'd probably be worse. I'm not even joking. We'd probably be worse. I don't know, 10. What? Look, I've waffled on for quite a while. What do you think of this whole shit show, basically?
Yeah, I mean, same old Tottenham, I guess, in terms of what's happening behind the scenes with. Obviously, we talked about Paratici, and then obviously, the fallout after this. Amazing refereeing performance for Liverpool, for their 12th man. But yeah, overall, in terms of just the game itself, obviously, not good to be down to 10 men for most of that game, and obviously I know nine men very later on.
And now, not only that, Xavi's suspended for 3 games, I think. Against, by the way, against 3 low blocks against Palace, Brentford, and Sunderland. 3 low blocks, teams that are going to sit back. We have no number 10. Great. Plus Romero suspended against Crystal Palace. So there's players missing in the games ahead.
Oh, damn it. So Simmons is not going to be on the 4th of Jan. Oh, well. But maybe Richarlison will be the savior that day. But I think the game against Liverpool, first half, obviously the red card changed a lot of what Spurs' plan was overall. But then I think in the obviously the red card didn't help. And then second half, they bring on their £125 million, whatever how much money they want to say, signing from the great Newcastle United. And of course, I did say this in our.
He scores.
For like what? How many times has he? 2, 3.
It was 6 times he scored against us now,
including now. Yeah, it's like he loves playing Spurs.
He does.
I think he's done it 4 games in a row against Spurs.
Yeah.
But
see, and you know what's funny about Isak is that before he joined Newcastle, I wanted to sign him. I said to everyone we should sign Isak, and people were like, "Oh, his goal scoring record's bad. He's only scored 5 goals."
And now watch people like, "Oh, now he."
I said before Isak had all this hype around him. I said I wanted him at Spurs. I said we should sign him I think in the same summer that Newcastle got him. I said we should sign him instead of it was the summer we signed Richarlison. I said we should have got Isak, and people didn't listen to me at the time.
Yeah. And then what do you call this? And then obviously he scores. Isak scores a goal. But that's only the 3rd time this season. But it seems like that might be the last time this season.
Yeah, it looked like a bad injury, to be fair.
Yeah, it was. But man of the match, Mickey van der Ven. You know what? When we play Spurs on the 10th of February, I hope Mickey van der Ven scores a hat-trick or does something that Romero did.
It's about time we got a win against you guys. It's been since...
So you know what? I hope Mickey van der Ven scores the 95th minute winner against us on the 10th of February, 2026 on that Tuesday night. Go Spurs on that day. And both the 4th of January and the 10th of February. But yeah, for Liverpool to lose their £125 million signing from the star striker. And to be honest, I know maybe Liverpool fans want to say, oh, you know what? Maybe we'll just get Nick Voldemort off Newcastle. Liverpool's track record of signing Newcastle strikers isn't that good right now. The last time they did it was Andy Carroll. Now it's Isak. So, we'll see. They could get Elanga if they want. But, it didn't look like... it did look like a bad injury for the most famous signing. So it seems like they're going to make some signings. But, I know it's not, they're not involved in this show, but like they're spending a lot of this money, but then they say they need to sign more players to improve. Liverpool, I mean. So they need to spend more money to improve when they've
I mean, to
spent,
be fair, that's kind of crazy. Like you're the British record signing, and only
and you still need to improve.
yeah. But here's the thing: they should have signed Guehi. I said this already. They I think not being able to sign Guehi was, I think, detrimental, completely detrimental to their season.
And then obviously after that, the second goal, cked, which
should have been disallowed. Should have been disallowed.
But
I'm so annoyed about that goal. I really am.
Yeah, and then throughout the game, Spurs tried, but then obviously did score with Charlison, the goat, another goat. But then obviously the 9 men, Romero sent off. So I would say the referee did change the game. I would say even before the Xavi Simons red card, the ref already. It felt like
it was already going on.
You could be like,
Yeah, it was already fishy because he was, giving fouls that weren't fouls. He was not giving fouls that were fouls for us. Like,
yeah. So, yeah, overall, not the best day actually for both of us that Saturday, because neither of our teams.
I'm telling you, that referee, like, he genuinely needs to be fired immediately. Like, immediately. Because in any other job, and this is just the way of life, in most industries, if you're not doing your job, you get fired. If you're working for, like, I don't know, if you're working at a shop, if you're working, in anywhere, basically, whatever job you have, you get fired if you're not doing your job. If you mess up, if you're incompetent, you get fired. This referee was incompetent. He deserves to be fired after this. But no, the PGMOL, whatever it's called, and the stupid FA will protect him, and he'll probably be put on one of our next games.
Watch him be the Boxing Day match, which we'll talk about, I guess, very soon. But yeah, overall,
I'm telling you, I've seen some bad referees, but that is he is the worst referee I've ever seen.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, not great. And obviously now with the table, we're both below 10th place, so obviously not great.
Maybe I'll get it up. Because it's not good.
As well. Or actually, I know we're just a point ahead, but same record. I would just say that.
I mean, do you know what's funny is Brentford are above us. That's funny. Brentford are above this manager.
Oh, thank God we're above them. Then.
But for us, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, the coach of Brentford is above the former Brentford coach.
But this is what I'm saying about Frank. Do I blame him for the Liverpool game? No. But do I blame? Like I said, I don't entirely blame him. But do I blame him for a lot of this? What you see, there?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Because he is not good enough. And he is what I'm seeing every game. I'm more convinced by it. He is a mid-table manager. He is not at the level that's needed, and not only that, he doesn't come across as somebody that can galvanize our team to actually, be more consistent and fully go for it in every game, and put our bodies on the line. Basically, He doesn't come across as that guy. And like I said, I don't want to give Ange a lot of credit because I think Ange is an awful manager. Tactics non-existent. Look, Frank, I'll still say this. Frank is a better tactician than Ange. But what Ange does have, and this is why we won the Europa League, he can galvanize players. He can get everyone extremely motivated. No tactics, sure. No tactics, completely non-existent. But he can. And Angus, I agree. It is a combination of manager and players because you're right. We have players that aren't good enough. We have players that aren't at the level that are at this club, especially sort of in the forward line. The midfielders, I just think I look at our squad. Our squad, look, it's got some good players, it's got some average players, and it's got some terrible players. It's very poorly assembled. If that makes sense, it's very poorly assembled because if you look at the midfield, there's some good players there. But there's not, they're all similar. We've got all of these midfielders that are kind of like, nah, not at all. we've got all of these midfielders that are like very similar. A jack of all trades, master of none sort of thing. we don't have a left winger that's a nailed on starter for us. Look, the fullbacks, look, they haven't been playing. I like Porro. I like Udogie. I think Spencer's a little overrated, but I think he's been our best player probably the last couple of games. But they haven't been performing it, and this is the problem. Players that are good players are also underperforming this season. That's another problem we're having. So, just look at the table. I don't care what people say. We should not be 13th. I don't care what people say. We are below. I'm not saying we should be, up here, top 4 or anything. But 13th is, I'm sorry, that's below our level. I don't care. I don't. Just like I think 11th is below Newcastle's level as well.
Yeah, and I don't believe 6th place is their level. If you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
At least like Arsenal, you could say 1st place. Okay, it's around their level. They've been competing around there.
Listen, the blue shark's coming. I'll tell you that. The blue shark is coming. I can tell you that.
Or maybe cloud and blue. I kind of hope not.
Nah, forget Villa.
That would be a disaster for Newcastle if the cloud and blue in 3rd place wins the Premier League.
They won't. Villa will drop off. I'm very confident Villa will drop off. They will.
Well, they play. Actually, they play Chelsea and Arsenal as the next 2 before New Year. But yeah, I think overall not a good Premier League table. And despite that, with the next game for both of our teams, we actually before.
Yeah, I agree. It is culture.
Yeah.
I think the culture is a problem. I agree.
Yeah.
And the problem we've got is that's going to take. It doesn't just happen overnight. That's going to take time to change.
Yeah, and with the next games coming up. Well, actually, it's the next. Well, not after this game on Monday, Boxing Day after Christmas. It is Newcastle United away for the very first time against the Big 16. Against Manchester United.
Yeah,
United, as they like to say.
Man United. But,
yeah, my general thoughts on this game. I'll be honest. I think we'll lose. Just to be frank, no pun intended on Thomas, but
it's away, so it's probably
like we've only won 1 Premier League away game, and we had to be 3-0 up to even feel comfortable. So unless we go 3-0 up at any point against Man United, then I can't really say we'll win. If we are, by the words of the great Edward Howe, are we treading in the right direction? Well, then you have to win this game because last season we beat Man United. So if we don't beat Man United, then we're not treading in the right direction as a team, So we'll see. I mean, the last 3 visits we have won twice. That was 3-0 in the cup and then 2-0 last season. Maybe. But yeah, I do think. Yeah.
Channel 5.
But I think for this game against Manchester United, I do think it will be a tough game. I know they just played yesterday against Aston Villa and lost. But I saw Bruno Fernandes is not going to be in this game. It's almost likely because of a hamstring. Not as bad.
They got like Mbeumo and Ahmad missing with AFCON as well. So.
Oh yeah, and then, but they still have some threatening players like obviously Cunha did score yesterday. So I still think they have quality. But obviously now up against a team that has dropped so many points from winning positions, I wouldn't be surprised if we take the lead and end up not winning it. So, and considering this is a Boxing Day classic, I do remember the 4-3 loss on Boxing Day of 2013, where we were 1-0 up, 2-1 up, 3-2 up, and lost 4-3 in the end. I would not be surprised.
Was that in Fergie's last season? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and then actually the following game, we lost 7-3 at the Emirates, the game after. Theo Walcott, I remember. But, yeah.
Here's the thing with this. It's kind of like, I don't entirely agree with that, but here's what I will say is that getting rid of Ange was the right decision. I don't care what people say. But hiring Frank was the wrong decision. And both are true at the same time. And the way I see it is this: when you win a trophy, a European trophy like the Europa League, you don't hire someone like Thomas Frank. You just don't. You don't hire a manager that's won nothing, that's been mid-table, after you win a trophy. It's just not the right mix. And that's what I've realized. That's what I've been thinking about that. That's what I've realized.
Yeah, true. But I feel like heading into this game against Man United, I'm not really that confident. I know, obviously, oh, look at the first half against Chelsea.
Football's
Well,
90 minutes.
how about that second half?
I hate to say it, I hate to spoil it, but football's 90 minutes.
Yeah, like 45 minutes is good, but sometimes we all do like lasting longer, 90 minutes. Pause. But but yeah, I feel like I cannot be confident even if we are. I can't even be confident being 2-0 up in a game now. I have to wait until we're 3-0 up to be like, you know what, maybe. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if we're 3-0 up and still don't win the game against Man United. Maybe the Liverpool Spurs referee will referee this game. I don't know. We'll find out shortly.
Yeah, then he'll be on your favour. He'll be on your side because clearly he's a Liverpool fan. So then he'll be against Man United.
I mean, please then. I hope, please. But in terms of how I see the game going, I mean, I would obviously like to see us win, but to be honest, nothing's really changed since the derby. Yeah, we beat Firm. Yeah, we got a point at Chelsea, but but then the funny thing is that we're actually just a win away from Man United with just 3 points behind them.
Well, the thing with Man United is like nobody knows what nobody knows what they're gonna get from them. Like they're impossible to.
The one thing you will get from them is no haircuts. That's what I will say.
That's never happened. United Strand's never cutting his hair.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. You just with United, it's impossible to predict games that they're involved in because you just don't know what
United. 4-4 with Bournemouth and then lost to Villa.
They could be like absolute shit easily, but then also they could maybe turn up sometimes. Like we've seen like against Liverpool earlier in the season and stuff. Like you just don't know. That's the thing. Like I mean, with Newcastle, look, your away form is awful. You think you're gonna lose? I think it's just impossible to predict. I think it will be a draw. I think it'll be 2-2 again. I think that I just can't.
Who scores first?
I think you score first.
Oh, well.
I think you score first.
In terms of my prediction, I will say we will go 1-0 up. Man United equalize 1-1. Then we go 2-1 up. Then Man United equalize. We go 3-2 up, thinking we won the game. Man United get a penalty or something, make it 3-3. And then Maguire! 4-3!
And you know it will be Maguire as well. Somehow this guy, like against Leon.
Oh, I know.
This guy always does it somehow. Like at Liverpool, Anfield.
I 1000% know it'll be like that Leon game, which I was actually surprisingly happy Man United won that day. But I wouldn't be surprised if this Boxing Day fixture would be like people will say, "Oh my God, it's a Premier League classic," because it involves Man United, obviously. So, you know what? 4-3 Man United.
4-3.
Just like how it was in the 2013 Boxing Day
Madness.
fixture. We go 1-0 up, 2-1 up, 3-2 up, and eventually, late in the game, I forgot, I think it was Chicharito in 2013.
Hernandez, yeah.
This time it'll be like...
Isn't he like, doesn't he score like the most scrappiest goals like ever or something?
Yeah.
Like his goals are always like scrappy goals. He's never scored, he never scored like a pretty goal, if that makes sense.
Little P, yeah.
Yeah.
But this time it'll be with Sky Sports commentary, obviously, because it's Boxing Day prime game or whatever.
Harry Maguire, last minute.
And then the commentary will be Gary Neville and
Yeah, of course it will.
Roy Keane or whoever.
This is why I don't respect Sky Sports, because it's just bias. It's just
Maguire! Oh!
And there'll be, I bet you'll have Roy Keane, you'll have Gary Neville, and there'll be not a single ex-Newcastle guy.
Yeah.
Not a single one.
Yeah.
I bet you that's what happens.
Maguire! 95th minute! I knew it was
happening. And then do you remember the one, when the game at Anfield this season when Maguire scored, you just had Gary Neville like, in the back.
Yeah, so I could see something similar to that. And then Mark Goldbridge, yes, Harry Maguire. So you know what? Boxing Day win for Man United, 4-3.
Oh man, that'll be a dagger. That'll be a real dagger.
But to be honest, it'll be like, same old story. Before we beat Burnley in the next episode, but because we always beat Burnley nowadays. So yeah, I'll go 4-3 Man United. Give them the.
I think it'll be a draw. I can't predict it. I'm just going 2-2 because it's like I said, Man United. You don't know what you're going to get. Newcastle, you guys aren't on good form. You're not good away from home. I don't trust you guys, so I think just a draw.
So I will say, Harry Maguire, man of the match, for scoring the 95th minute winner around that time. So I'll go 4-3 Man United. Make it another Boxing Day classic for Manchester United. But it won't be a Boxing Day classic because it is 2 days later. But it's Palace hosting Spurs.
Yay!
At least, if you say Richie and all that, I will say, I don't know why the comments never actually appear for me, but what do you call this?
Oh, can you not get the comments up on the screen?
Well, actually, I can. It's just that it doesn't automatically appear, but some of the stuff. But what do you call this?
Yeah.
Well, but Palace did concede a couple of times to Dominic Lewandowski, I believe. Lewandowski.
Yeah. See, here's the thing with this Palace game. It's actually, taking away Spurs for a second, I actually think this is the right time to play Palace. I think this is probably a good time to play them because I think, obviously, they're suffering a lot of injuries. They've been struggling to manage Conference League and Premier League, 2 games a week basically. Glasner's coming out. He's not happy. He's probably going to leave at the end of the season and all of this. So Palace aren't doing great right now. Obviously, Ismaila Sarr's missing. He's at AFCON, probably their best attacker. I think he's going to be missing because he's at AFCON. So Munoz is out as well. Great, obviously been great for them at right wing back. So probably the right time to play Palace, but it's the right time to play us.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think for as kind of up and down as much of Palace have been, I think we're even worse. I mean, we're below them in the.
And actually, they play tomorrow as well against
Arsenal in the cup. Yeah, I mean, Angus, you're probably playing them at the best time as well. Unfortunately, but
if a certain result, Palace.
We'll see.
There will be some Asna head loss if a certain result happens on tomorrow night.
But I think Palace, I mean, it's away from home as well. Palace away is difficult at the best of times. At the best of times, going to that ground is hard. It's a difficult ground to get results at.
I think they have a good record, actually, in their season.
Yeah. So I have zero confidence. I mean, look, if we see the fight, if we see the effort that we saw against Liverpool with 9 men, maybe we'll get something, but I just don't trust it. I don't trust this manager to pick the right team. I don't trust us to go into a game away at Selhurst Park and, put on a performance and control the game. We haven't been doing that all season. I can only see. I think we're going to lose. I think we lose 1-0. It's going to be one of those just terror. It's going to be a terrible game. But we're gonna. Here's how it's going to go. We're gonna go into the game. First 5 minutes, we'll misplace a pass. It will set the tone. We're going to go there. We're going to create nothing, and they'll probably get one chance. and take it and then sit back and we won't be able to break them down. So I think we lose 1-0 and it will be, another nail in the coffin for this season and another step towards the end of Frank at this club probably. So yeah, I think we lose 1-0 and it will be another shit show, unfortunately. I hope I'm wrong, but there's no evidence to suggest otherwise, sadly.
Yeah. And also, I'm not actually British, but yeah. What do you call this? Oh, Vancouver. I think. Yeah. British Columbia, so technically British. But yeah, this game against Palace, obviously, it is a good time to play them because we play them. I think they are our New Year's fixture, like the day after, I think. So I do expect Spurs to be a little bit more fresh than Palace. Obviously, Palace just came off conceding. Actually, I just saw, I never actually knew this. Dominic Calvert-Lewandowski has scored in 5 consecutive games.
Yeah, that's mad. I mean, I don't know how Leeds are getting anything out of him. Angus, we beat Brentford like 2 weeks ago. Just.
Oh yeah. But I think obviously it's a good time to play Palace. Obviously, in a way, I did think they bottled it against QUPS.
I told everyone that. I said I don't. Everyone says Palace have got the Conference League in the bag. I don't think they're winning the Conference League. I mean, you said I don't. I said at the start of the season I don't think they would win the Conference League, which I think a lot of people were surprised by.
Yeah, and now they have to go to the playoff as well. So an extra 2 games. So yeah, it doesn't look good for Palace. And we've yet to play them as well twice. We're playing them both times in 2026. But yeah, for this game against Spurs, I just think Spurs will be a little bit more fresh than Palace. I think this winter period's not been good on Glasner and all that and the team. So I'll actually go with 1-1 in this one. In this game, but I could actually see Spurs winning this as well. I'll go 1-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if Spurs win.
I can't see us winning.
Of the good but yeah, I'll go 1-1, and I'll go Palace to score first, and then Spurs somehow equalize.
I mean, again, another thing as well. We still haven't won a single game from a losing position this season. And that's only even last season. I mean, even last season we did that, and that's saying something. Like this manager's failed to do it every single time.
I'm guessing you're predicting the game tomorrow. I'm guessing.
Yeah, why not? Let's go with that. Yeah.
If all
See, you hope, but he'll do nothing. I can tell you right now, he'll do nothing. He probably won't even. He won't even start against us. Like he will do nothing. Angus. You're an Arsenal fan. You know that he's trash. You know what I mean? You know that cked is like a championship level player.
He had the number 14 shirt.
I'm worried about Mateta, Uche, the guy they got as well, Pino. I'm worried about these guys, not Nketiah, man.
And then watch.
Yeah, but I don't care. Look, if it happens, it happens. But it doesn't change that he's a very poor striker. It doesn't change that.
Yeah, but I guess basically wraps up the show and all that.
Let's bring back Chicken Royale. Let's bring back Dyer while we're at it as well. Let's bring the band back together.
Oh yeah, bring everyone back. Maybe
let's bring Sanchez back. Let's bring like Sessegnon back. Let's bring all of the bring the band back together.
But yeah, I guess we'll finish up the show here. Obviously, this is the show before Christmas, and then obviously the next time we're doing this show, I guess maybe next Monday around this time more or less, something like that. We'll schedule it. But obviously, if I can find that comment that I said, where is it? Where do I say it? It was about later tonight. I guess me and Charlie. Well, me at least, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, I'll be there. I should be there.
Egypt versus Zimbabwe in the Africa Cup of Nations. And just so everyone knows, I actually got like around 1,000 views on X Twitter on that. But somehow didn't get any comments, so I don't know how. But yeah, it was a good watch yesterday. I did one for Morocco and Comoros. And I think Comoros were actually a lot better than people thought. But looking forward for the Egypt-Zimbabwe game. predictions, I'm going with 0-0.
I think Egypt win 1-0. I think it will be Popala for a Popala.
90
Salah penalty.
But you never know. I'm not sure if it's true. Maybe there's a player in Zimbabwe named Knowledge. I think something like that.
Knowledge? Seriously? Really?
I know
Oh,
before they used to be.
Knowledge. Wow. Is that true?
Yeah.
Guys, in the chat, does anyone know about this in the chat?
I don't know.
Is there a player from Zimbabwe called Knowledge?
Yeah,
That's
something
cool.
like that. I mean,
That's
we'll
really
find out in a few hours. But yeah, obviously, Charlie, shout yourself out.
Yeah, look, big up to 10, big up to the chat, you know, whichever channel you're watching on, big up to everybody that watched today. Yeah, look, I think both our clubs are in the mud, it's fair to say. It's a Mud Brothers. We might as well call this the show of mud, basically. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Hopefully the shit show doesn't continue for both our...
Yeah, 'cause I think he has a tattoo of it.
Yeah, so I think it's the one that Knowledge.
Yeah.
No, but have you seen him? You know the YouTuber Nico Omilana? He refers to KSI as just Knowledge. He refers to him as just Knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, big up to the chat. I hope everyone has a good Christmas. We'll be back doing this show sometime after Christmas. So after the next Premier League games. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, like I said, if you watch whichever channel you're watching on, this is being streamed on both channels. Please do subscribe and like both streams as well. And yeah, we will be back soon. So yeah, big up everyone.
Yeah, true. Could be like that with Spurs. But yeah, I guess we'll wrap up the show. And at least for me, I will be back later tonight for Egypt versus Zimbabwe. So big up to everyone, and we'll see you guys. Well, for me, or actually both of us later. And go Zimbabwe!